Welcome to the KTuner Getting Started video, Part 1. In this video, we're going to talk about software installation and some of the things you need to do to get started. After downloading our installer from the website, double-click to get started and walk through the pages to install the software. At the end of the regular software install, you'll see that there are two options for installing drivers directly from the installer. If you have our in-ECU hardware, then you'll want to check the top box, and if you have our flash-based hardware, you'll want to check the bottom box before proceeding. Having either of those options checked will launch a new installer that'll walk you through driver installation. Now, if you're on Windows XP, you can find information on how to manually install the drivers on our KTuner online help. Also, if your driver installer didn't launch because of your permissions, we're going to show you how to manually find and open those driver installers yourself. You can find the driver installers manually by right-clicking on the app icon and going to Open File Location. You'll see DP Installer 64 and DP Installer 32, depending on whether or not you're 64 or 32-bit. Launching the driver installer manually will open the same installer as it would have from the end of the last installation. When you launch KTuner for the first time, you'll be prompted with an end user license agreement. If you accept, you can move on. The software will load, and you'll be prompted with a login and password screen. In order to update your login information, you need to actually have the KTuner device plugged into the USB port. Once you plug in the device, you'll notice that the update button becomes available and you can enter your details and log into the website. If you don't have an account yet, make sure that you follow the software installation details on the online help. After you've properly entered your details and updated your license, once you hit close, you'll be brought to a blank screen, and you'll see this message telling you how to get started with your layout design. Also check Designing a Layout on the online help for more information. By right-clicking, you'll reveal a menu of UI elements you can add to your layout. As soon as you add the first element, you'll notice the message disappears. These elements can be moved, they can be set to show different information, and for some items, you can even resize them by clicking the lower right corner, holding Shift, and dragging. You can then begin to build your layout by adding other items like digital gauges, data lists, and graphing items, which are all talked about in the Designing a Layout area of the online help. With KTuner, you have full capacity to add items, resize them, and move them around on screen to fit your style of tuning. Once you're up and running with the layout, you'll want to connect your device to the USB to register it for the first time. When you plug it in, you may see Windows go through the registration process for the drivers, but eventually you'll get a window like this asking you to register your unit. You will need internet access to register and lock your unit to the ECU. If the ECU isn't properly powered, you might get a message like this when you try to connect for the first time. Don't be alarmed by this message. It simply means that you need to plug everything in properly power the ECU, or put the key in the accessory position and retry. Once we're finally connected, you'll see a logging status or connected status at the bottom left, and you could possibly see the module number as well as the data logging frames per second. On top of that, your gauges will now be populated with real-time data. So let's get started with opening and uploading a tune file. You'll find our factory and included base maps by going to File New or the plus icon on the toolbar. In your version, only your module will be shown in this list, but what you want to do is go down to the drop-down and select your module number. If you're on a platform where base maps are available, hitting Next will bring you to a tune selection window. Along with the factory equivalent map, you'll find any other tune maps that we happen to have, and you can find a description of those files on the right-hand side of the list. Once you select your tune file that you want to run, hit Next. It'll take a few seconds to load, and then you can make any changes you need to and upload. You can find settings for various options on the left-hand list. We're also commonly asked how to view the ignition and other maps. Add a tuning map to your layout. Just like the other items, you can move it around the screen wherever you want. You can resize it. And additionally, if you pull these little tabs, you can show 2D and 3D mode as well. Uploading a map is simple. Just make sure that you have the key on, your logging are connected, and that you have a map open already. When you're ready to go, simply click the Upload Base Code button. And at the bottom left, you'll see that it's erasing the ECU. You'll see that that is successful, and you'll also see the progress all the way from 0 to 100. We're going to fast forward through the reflash. You must let the entire reflash process finish before continuing or disconnecting any of the hardware. After the reflash has completed, you'll be prompted to follow some directions. In this case, it's a simple vehicle off and on. All you have to do is turn the key off, key back onto the accessory position, and click the OK button to begin logging again. That concludes the basics of getting started. We'll have more videos available with more in-depth information soon.